Hello everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit sweaty. I have just walked this beautiful girl. Hey, say hi, Soph. So I just wanted to talk to everyone something that isn't mentioned and isn't talked about very often, and it's the importance of getting our bodies in alignment with something called the circadian rhythm. So that's getting our body in alignment with the natural 24 hours that is in our day, this natural process that our bodies are going through every single day and often outside of our awareness. And this 24 hours, if we think about looking at it on a clock, can be broken down into different segments. And these segments have different roles and different purposes and cause us to behave in certain ways. So let's start from 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. This part of the day is when our bodies are metabolically the slowest. Okay, so when we're waking up, we're feeling a little bit sluggish, our metabolism isn't at its best. So this is the time to start moving, start getting exercise, start physically moving, getting our bodies relaxed and flowing, and getting our metabolism up, ready for the day. So this is a really good time to start doing physical activity. So once we get to 10 a.m., 10 till 2 is the next section. And this is the time where our digestion is the strongest at this point in the day. So this is when, around 12 we can actually eat our biggest meal and our bodies can handle it. And this is when our metabolism is fired up and our digestion is ready to go. And this is when we must, out of any meal, this is a little bit different to modern day eating, is when we have the biggest meal in the evening. But actually, because of our digestion is the strongest between 10 and 2, that's when we need to be having our biggest and most nutritious and balanced meal. So from 2 o'clock, we've got 2 till 6. Can you see these are all in 4-hour segments? So 2 till 6 p.m. This is actually when we get hyper metabolic, which is when metabolism is the highest, and this is the time where we're most creative and psychologically the most alive. So if you're struggling like mentally with something with work, you've got a writer's block, anything, 2 till 6 is the time where you will have the most ideas, be the most creative, and this will feel the most easier to do mental work. I always find this, and I never understood why, and it kind of makes a lot of sense now. So from 6 p.m., we're at 6 now, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m., can you see this follows exactly the same pattern as 6 a.m. It's when our bodies then starts to wind down and our metabolism drops. And this is where the time, if we're eating a huge meal, we're not going to be digesting it properly. And this is when we actually need to start in the evening, just slowing down and getting our bodies prepared for rest. Because then 6 till 10 p.m. is the optimal time to go to bed. Between 10 and 10:30 latest, like science has shown that this period of time is when we get the most high quality sleep. And, if we're going beyond this, it's disrupting our circadian rhythm, it's disrupting our digestion, our metabolism. And I think we're all a bit of a sucker to this, aren't we? That, we go to bed late, 11:30, and we wonder why we're tired. So between 10 and 10:30 is the optimal time to go to bed. So we're into the evening now. So 10 p.m. till 2 a.m, we're still going around. And this is actually when we start to get our metabolism fired up a little bit. And this is when detoxification occurs, okay? So our bodies are working really hard to get rid of all that rubbish from the day, going through all the cells, getting rid of all that crap whilst we're asleep. Then 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. Now this is the time where we go through another round of detoxification, but mentally. So if you've got some sleep disturbances where you've been waking up at 2, 3, 4 a.m., this is when we can start actually have psychological problems, because we're not getting that detoxification between the 2 and 6 a.m. mentally. So all those toxins start to build up. I'm just reading what Jay said. Is that why I'm always hungry at 2 a.m.? Yeah, it's quite interesting that if we go to bed later then if we stay up later and later and later, 11 p.m, midnight, our bodies are fired up with digestion, and that is exactly the time where we then go to the fridge and then start eating and night eating. So that period of time where we need to be asleep, if we go beyond that, that's when our digestion is fired up again, our metabolism is working, and we end up in the fridge. So it's quite interesting. And this is why like night binges happen a lot of the time, and night eating if we're staying up later and later. So that kind of slight bit of flexibility between 10 p.m. and 10:30 is really, really important. So back to the 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. Yeah, like I was saying, if we are not sleeping in this period of time and waking up, we're not detoxifying our minds, and this is when we can start to get anxiety, depression, and all those things as those toxins are built up and up and up. Because this is also the time that we dream. This is really important. 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is when we're dreaming, and dreams can kind of be thought of as a way of cleansing the mind, detoxifying the mind. What kind of Harry Potter shit is going on here? Just sharing you what I know, and it's a bit crazy. So yeah, if we are also not sleeping between this time, we're not dreaming. And if we're not dreaming, we're not cleansing the mind and getting rid of all of those toxins. So that's kind of the 24-hour cycle in a nutshell. So you got to break it down into 4-hour slots. From 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is when our metabolism is the slowest. So this is really important to get bodies moving, get physical. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., is when our digestion is fired up. So this is when we can eat the biggest, most nutritious and balanced meal. 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. is when we're the most metabolic. So we're going to be creative, we're going to have the ideas, we're going to be mentally strong. And then 6 p.m. till 10 p.m, again, our bodies goes back into that slow metabolism, which is when we want to be taking more rest, like unwinding, getting our bodies ready for sleep. And the sleep is 10 p.m. till 10:30, because if we go beyond this, our bodies are back in like high metabolism and high digestion, which is why we go to the fridge. Like Jay said, this is why I'm always hungry at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. is again where the mind is detoxifying. So this is when we sleep more. Dream more. And if this bit is disturbed, this is when we start to get mental health problems, because we're not getting rid mentally of those toxins. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of, and you can start kind of relating it to you, your own life, and why you're feeling or maybe thinking certain ways. Jay, why do I never want to eat breakfast? Yeah, so this is, it's to do with metabolism. It's because our bodies are not fired up. So then that's why everyone is different. You know, people say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but often we don't feel like it, because we need to get our bodies moving first of all and get us physically active to get that metabolism up, and then we may be hungry at 9 or 10, and that's perfectly okay to eat breakfast slightly later when we've actually got that fired up in our belly and we've got our metabolism going. So like I said, everyone's different. Some people, depending on your nature and your body type, might wake up starving and want to eat straight away, but others may need a bit of movement, a bit of stimulation, and then eat breakfast at 9 or 10. That's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes I wake up starving, and other times I'm like, I just feel a bit sluggish, especially if I've been awake between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And then I need to either go for a walk, go to the gym, and then I can eat. So that's perfectly okay. It's just to use this circadian rhythm, this 24-hour cycle, and relate it to you and how you're feeling in your life, and just see where you can maybe make some changes or adjustments. So I hope that was helpful and not too Harry Potter shit. And yeah, if you want any more information about this, or you need a bit of advice, just drop me a message. I'm happy to help. Thanks everyone. See ya.